Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Monster Outlaws of the West podcast. I am Vincent. I am joined with MJ. He's going to be here in just a few moments. And our guest, Juan Muñoz, driver for Straight Up Racing and Sturges Motorsports, will be joining us in just a few minutes. But anyway, I'm very excited for this episode. Juan's a good friend of mine, and I think it's going to be a great episode. And I'm now joined with MJ. MJ, how are you doing today, man?
Not too bad, man. It's been a crazy day, but here we are. I'm excited. It's probably the best part of the day today, but I'm excited. I've met Juan. I've had the chance to work with Juan before. Great guy. So I'm ready to get this thing rolling and see what we can talk about.
All right. Well, you said it yourself. It's always good to talk about monster trucks with drivers and just come on every Friday night and relax and have fun. But without further ado, let's bring on the man himself, Juan Muñoz. To the podcast, episode 6, the Willie King himself. Welcome aboard, Juan.
What's up, Juan?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing good. Enjoying the good, hot California weather right now, hitting triple digits, but it's a beautiful day.
Same here. Arizona's the same way. It's pretty hot. I don't know where MJ went, but we're gonna get him right back in here. But what's Juan been doing during this time to possibly get his throttle therapy?
Just trying to find, something to do. I work in my full-time job, riding my motorcycle as much as I can. Hit the canyon, try to get my adrenaline pumping, something, and also hanging out with, other local drivers here that, live here. And Terry Woodcock, with Freedom Racing for one. Been hanging out with him a little bit. So just trying to stay busy, trying to stay, in there a little bit, and just, I'm pumped. I'm just ready to get back.
Yeah. So what could you be doing with Terry Woodcock? I heard that name come up.
Yeah, Terry and I, we've been working a little bit here and there. With this whole quarantine, I've been, like I said, I've been trying to stay busy. So I've been just kind of figuring out what we can work on. Obviously, you guys know, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen on, Freedom Racing webpage and Facebook. I'm sure you've seen him posting some of the stuff that he's been bringing around, and we start tearing down. So, there's quite a bit of stuff. There's stuff for the Hall of Fame, restorations, and also recreating, some historical trucks. So it should be pretty cool.
Right. So we talked brought about Terry Woodcock. You said he lives pretty close to you, doesn't he? Isn't he in the same town as you?
Yeah, he's here in Bakersfield, and his shop is not that far away from me. Actually, it's probably just a couple miles from my home, so I can just be like, "Hey, I'm coming over. Let's work on something today." And yeah, so he's pretty close by. Pat Gerber as well with Shocker. He's also about a mile away from me, so he's even closer. So these guys we're all right here. We're just I see them working here and there, and say hi at least from over 6 feet.
Well, Terry's watching. You said, get out here to the shop and get to work.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be over here on one side. He'll be over here on the other side, and we'll just be like, "Hey, where's this tool at? Where's this one?" So it's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
So, Juan, why don't we start off? I'm going to ask you, how did you get started into this industry? You've been in for a while, so give us some insight on how you got into it.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm like everybody else. I've been a huge fan since I was a little kid. Just finding whatever way, I'm like, how can I get started? How can I get started? Always just kind of seeing, where I can meet someone, just get some advice. And the first advice, or actually, I'll leave that for later. But my very first experience was actually riding in a monster truck, with Bill Payne and Straight Up Racing. I wasn't riding with Bill at the time. I actually rode with with Pierce Knight and Tough Guy, but I got to ride in a 2-seater monster truck, and I went through the whole show. Did best trick, did racing, did freestyle, and I was like, man, like I gotta do this. Like I felt it. I felt what I always dreamed it felt like, and from there, I think like towards the end of that same year, Bill and the guys and some other trucks were here in town, and I told Bill, I was like, hey man, you're here in my town, can I please help you? And Bill and Lorna, they gave me the opportunity, and I'm so grateful for that, because they gave me the chance to go out there and wrench with them and just kick butt and just enjoy the show and just help out with whatever I could. I'm a mechanic, on a daily basis. I work full time as an auto mechanic, so I already kind of knew where I can kind of start checking this and that, fluids, whatever. I can start checking nuts and bolts. Nut and bolting is part of the trucks every minute, it seems like. But yeah, that's a little bit of a taste of how I kind of got started, because from there it just went on and on.
What was that like? You messaged Bill for the first time, and you got that message back. Yeah, come on out. What was that like? I bet you had a bunch of adrenaline pumping through that, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was so happy for one to see a response. I mean, a lot of times there are drivers, they're busy or whatever reason they just they can't answer back or something. But yeah, they answered back. Lorna and Bill answered back, and they said, yeah, you're more than welcome. With open arms, they told me to come on down and help them out with whatever. I mean, with cleaning the trucks or nut and bolting or selling tickets or helping with the ride truck, whatever it was. And I mean, it was an amazing feeling for one. I mean, I was like, okay, this is my moment. This is my time to shine. Don't screw it up. So I just went in there, did my best, and I guess I did pretty well. They invited me back, after that to come to the next show, and I believe it was Yuma, Arizona, and then from there I just kept working to the next show, Chico, California, and then I believe they started coming a little bit closer, here, Porterville, California, Ridgecrest, a bunch of different places, but that's it was definitely a great feeling, and it's been still a great feeling since.
So we talk about your first time driving. What was the first truck you drove? I know you've driven the California Kid over the years, and I mean, you're pretty known for that in the slap wheelies. So what's it like, what was the first truck you drove, and what's it like doing those slap wheelies in California Kid?
Well, the first truck I actually drove was the Hot Stuff ride truck. And that one just happened. Like it literally, I think the truck was at the end of one side of the truck was at the end of the track, and somebody had to move it. I was nearby, and Bill, just let me just get in there and move it. And I actually, after that, I started doing the ride truck. And I mean, pretty much with anybody when you join the team, I mean, we go through learning on the ride truck, learning the rear steer, and then just really being comfortable with moving the the beast that it is around whatever small areas we are. And then from there, the first race truck that I drove was California Kid. I mean, everybody knows California Kid, I'm pretty sure, and the history that it holds and the drivers that have come from it. So, I mean, you can only imagine what I felt like kind of sitting in that truck and be like, oh man, like, this driver and this driver, Donald Appendio, Garrett Liddell, BJ Johnson, all these guys have been in this truck and they run it pretty good, so I'm like, I felt like I had a lot of pressure on me the first time I got in that truck.
So did anyone give you any advice when driving the California Kid? Maybe you've talked to a previous driver of the California Kid. Maybe they knew how to – maybe they drove it a long time. They know how to whip the truck around. Any advice from any drivers?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the guys right away, I mean, John Bruce, he was the one helping me out, getting situated in the truck, just kind of let me know the ins and outs. And, of course, Bill Payne, I've asked him, a bunch of questions. I'm pretty sure he's like, man, just go out there, feel it, and you'll feel it as soon as you start going. And I mean, just Bill Payne, it's like it's to get any advice. I actually kept it in my head, and I'm just trying to remember it every time I drive that truck. It's like, okay, don't screw this up. And a lot of times I think I kind of end up driving like him because I look up to Bill and I see the way he drives it. So sometimes I feel like try too hard, I guess, to drive like him, and it sometimes ends up biting me. So, but that's the fun of driving that truck.
So when you see Bill go out there to do his freestyle, do you kind of like does he kind of egg you on? You see him, like say the show before, and he's just going ballistic, and then the next show you show up. Do you want to like match that, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, with any truck, really, I mean, I try to at least match somewhat what they do. I mean, of course, I can't be maybe like exactly like Bill, but I try to be, I guess, a little bit as myself as well, like what I would like to do. But yeah, I do watch Bill. I do watch all the other drivers, and when I'm in a certain truck, I feel like I try to be like the guy that's always in that truck. So with California Kid, I do tend to drive like Bill Payne, or try to drive like BJ used to drive it, like yeah, I like one of my favorite, I think, driving styles or driving areas like were in arenas. Growing up and here in town, I would watch BJ in California Kid, and I mean he would whip that truck around 180s, and I'm like, man, I gotta drive like that sometime. I'm like, I gotta give it a shot. If I'm not driving like that, I'm not driving hard enough. So, or if I'm not doing those wheelies, like Bill and all the other guys, and I'm not driving hard enough.
So, you've been in many identities throughout your career so far. So what is it like going from say California Kid being a short wheelbase truck, going to say like Spitfire being normal length truck?
It's definitely a whole different experience. I mean, California Kid, I mean, for those that have driven it, they'll tell you it's a wild truck. I mean, if you want to go straight, it might want to go left. So you want to go left, it's going to go right or whatever. But that's just the way it is, because it's such a short wheelbase truck. But it's wild, and it's a lot of fun to drive it. I love driving that truck. I mean, but I feel like it's a good truck, I believe, to start and to begin and get really a handle of how the truck will react and how to handle it. Because once I, like for instance, like you said, jumping into Spitfire, driving that truck, it's completely different. It's almost like a tamed, truck. Like I can throw it this way, throw it that way, do as I please really with it. But it's a whole different experience. Both handling, of course, amazing. I love driving either one of those trucks. So it's a pretty cool ride.
So I know you're a fan just like myself. I've seen you, Moss Gym shows here and there. So I have a question. Growing up as a kid, what was your favorite truck to watch, and what would be your dream truck to drive?
Man, that's a tough one, because I mean, growing up here in the West Coast, I grew up watching Pablo Huffaker and Gravedigger for sure. He's been always the West Coast guy, and Sam Sturges with Unnamed and Untamed. I mean, I would watch those guys going at it, all the time here. I mean, they seem to come or actually, I take that back. Pablo, I think, only came a couple of times. But both those times were amazing times. And I recorded that. And I mean, I've been playing that over and over and over and over as a kid. And I mean, all the other years after that, it's been, Untamed, Gary with Terminator. We've had, Pat Gerber with Shocker. All those trucks. So I mean, it's a lot of trucks to really pick as what my favorite would be and stuff like that. And your other question was what truck I would like to drive.
Dream truck, yes.
My dream truck to drive. One of my favorite trucks was definitely the Blue Thunder. Blue Thunder with Tony Farrell and Lyle Hancock. I love that truck. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys love that truck, and if I could drive that truck, that would be pretty sweet.
That's an interesting pick. I did not expect Blue Thunder, but I think that'd be really cool to see in that truck. We have a question from Mike Minter. He asks, what does Juan think about the Mini Monster program?
Oh, dude, those Mini Monsters. Oh, man, you guys are awesome. I mean, I watch you guys, and I'm just like, dude, you guys are like, I mean, not taking anything away from you. You guys are kids, but I mean, you guys send those trucks out there, and I'm like, dude, these guys are going at it. I mean, for example, when we were in Del Mar, you guys are awesome, man. I mean, I'm watching you guys right before I go, and I'm like, I gotta go against that. I mean, we gotta go against that, like guys. So we better we better go pretty hard. I mean, these kids are jumping up there, and you guys are cool, man. I love the mini monsters.
They're always a sight to see. I know I got to hang out with Mike and them at a show I did, but yeah, those little kids, they get after it. But you know, you also drive for Sam Sturges in the Unnamed and Untamed truck, and you know you're known as the Wheelie King. So what you know, you hop into California Kid, and it seems like the wheelies are almost automatic for you in either truck you drive. So what's that going on? Like how did you figure out how to do that wheelie, or you know anyone that taught you anything about those?
So what? I don't know about Wheelie King, but I mean, thank you, I guess. But I mean, yeah, I mean, with obviously jumping into Unnamed and Untamed, you know, getting the advice from Sam Sturges, you know, telling me just pretty much that throttle rhythm and timing, and same thing with California Kid and any of the straight up racing trucks. You know, I get feedback from Bill is you want to hit it this way and whatever way, because all those trucks are just a little bit different, but you can pretty much get it, I guess, with all of them. Really, I guess I tried the wheelies with all the trucks. I love wheelies. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I know it's all about soppies and everything else now, but I mean, I'm old school. I love watching the wheelies. Like I said, growing up here, watching Unnamed and Untamed, he would just come here, rip the track up, and just those slap wheelies right across the whole arena, man. Those are awesome.
So what was it like driving in your hometown of Bakersfield? What was the first time like?
Oh man, I don't even know, man. I'm speechless with that one, because I came in there, and then growing up, I lived maybe about, I don't know, not even maybe 100 yards from our fairgrounds, and I would hear them, I would see them, I would smell them. Just being there, if I wasn't watching the show, I would at least be watching from the fence outside in the street. And my first hometown show, that was probably the greatest feeling that I've ever had, because my family was there, my parents, my siblings, coworkers, they're supporting me. And I mean, that was just cool. It was like, man, like for me, like that was it. Like I did it. Like that was my peak, like my moment, and I was enjoying it, and I was happy to share it with everybody, because my parents, my siblings, they know that I'm a nut for monster trucks. They would hear me, they were just like, oh my god, monster trucks. Like, I'm pretty sure they got kind of sick of it at times, but I mean, I'm pretty sure they were like, oh man, like, he did it, so that was kind of like that I did it moment. So that was amazing. I'll never forget it.
I'm sure that has to be a career highlight, as you said. I mean, I saw the videos, and I could tell it was a special moment for sure. As we have a question from John Bruce. He asked, who's your favorite team member on Straight Up Racing? A lot of pressure. A lot of pressure.
You cannot put me on the spot like that. I love all the guys. All the guys, the gals, the girls. They're all amazing. I mean, John. I mean, man, you're my boy, dude. But I mean, we also got there Dwight. We got Dallas. We got Dalton. We got Bill, of course. Everybody, man. We're a family. I love everybody, and I love seeing everybody every time we get to hang out together.
Yeah, it is. That's what we are. It's all a big one big family. But we were talking about doing a show in your hometown. Did you have like a lot of nerves? You got the call to drive. You got the call. Hey, we want you to drive here in Bakersfield. It's your hometown show. What was going through your mind when you got that call?
Yeah, definitely nerves. I mean, the butterflies. They always, come up. And Unnamed and Untamed, I had actually just driven in one show before my hometown show. So I was still getting familiar with the truck. And just, it was just slightly bigger of a arena or place that we did on the last show before that. So I was able to get it, going a little bit more. And it was interesting. It's definitely when I got that when Sam told me like, hey, you're going to drive in your hometown. And I was like, man, I mean, I was just too much. I didn't even know what to think. I was just thinking like, man, I'm about to drive here. I mean, it's almost like a being at World Finals kind of feeling for me. It's like, it's what I dreamed about. It's what I've always wanted. it's what I've always wanted to experience. It's what I've always wanted to give back to my parents. That like, I worked hard, and thanks to them, obviously I worked hard to get where I am, and it was just a great feeling, man. I can't even explain it.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a great experience for you getting to perform in front of your hometown crowd. Do you have before you get strapped in, or as you're getting strapped in, do you have anything like you like to go over? Do you have a certain way you tighten down your belts, or any pre-show rituals you have?
Yeah. I mean, if we have enough time, if everything's going according to plan, scheduled, I'll get some music going. I'll start listening to a little bit of rock. I like to hear whatever I can, some Metallica, some Korn, some Linkin Park, whatever I can to just get my mind off and relax a little bit, kind of get the pump. Yeah, I'll take my time getting in if I can, and give a little prayer right before I get inside the truck. And then I guess when I strap in, it's just really, lap, shoulders. I might try to do a shoulder lap, whichever way, but I do one or the other. And then just kind of just sit for a few minutes in the truck and just relax, and then just be ready for the show.
So Del Mar, California. Juan, it was your first time driving there last year. It was a long weekend for sure. Tons of shows, and I was there to experience it. And so there's a moment that sticks out in my mind where you hit the jammer, you do a stop wheelie, and you ride it over the tabletop, and then you slap it back down and do another wheelie. What was going through your head?
I don't know. I was just feeling it. I went for that jammer, and I just felt that first hit, and I was like, man, this is cool. It's gonna come, like, when you're in the truck, you can kind of feel how it's gonna come down. So it's like, man, this is gonna be a perfect spot. I can actually see the roof, and we were actually using that to kind of coordinate where we are with the place. So I knew that I was straight, with that jump on the other side, and when I came down, I just let it rip and pull up another wheelie, and then came down on top of the tabletop and actually pulled another little one on top of that. I was kind of hoping to land a little flatter on the other end, but that's just the way it worked out. But yeah, that was definitely a cool feeling there, and I had a lot of fun.
You've been to a lot of shows. You travel all over the place. Do you have any memories that stick out to you? Whether traveling with buddies on a team, or maybe you get another buddy in the car and you take a trip to a show. Is there any memories from those that stick out?
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorites is actually when I rode along with Buddha. We actually met up, or he met up with me here at my home, and we took off to Stockton. So just hanging out. We're both excited and ready to go to the show to Stockton for the Malicious Monster Truck Tour with us. And then I've actually had a couple with Buddha, actually others as well, where we've done Monster Jams. So we've gone and help out, and we kind of have our different teams, or the same team that we help out sometimes. And I like those trips. I mean, a lot of times it kind of helps because it's we can either take turns driving or just have somebody to talk to. Sometimes I'm by myself and I'm traveling from one show and back home, and then have another show the next weekend. So it's kind of cool. And I like those moments. So yes, Buddha, I do enjoy those rides with you sometimes.
Yeah, it's always fun being able to have someone to talk to on a long road trip to a show, to or from a show. We talk about going to shows and the pit parties. Do you have any memories from a pit party that stick out to you the most?
Well, there is the one where I got to meet you. There's definitely that one. Can't forget that one, bud. So I mean, yeah, there's times like those, where I get to meet somebody. I kind of see it in them where they're like, oh, I want to ask them something. I kind of don't so, I like those because I've been there, and I try to give you that easy entry where it's like, hey man, what's up? I can talk to you. And, I've had those moments too with kids where it's like, they really want it. They really want, to learn, even if they don't want to drive, if they just want to learn how to, work on the engines or build them, and stuff like that. And it's like, man, like, how can I do this? So it's like, it's always nice to interact with the fans. I love it, especially if they really have the passion for it and get in and just really want to know at least, one thing to help them just, get up there just a little bit more than where they are right now. But yeah, I definitely love those.
So this is the part of the episode where we take a photo from one of your social medias, we pull it up on the screen, and you have to explain the photo. Now, I know you have a lot of photos, so it could be a whole bunch of them, who knows, but here is the photo. Explain this.
Oh, man. Well, let me get a closer look at that. Yeah, that exact moment. Okay. So that was at the OC Fair. I believe it was, what was that, 2017, I believe. And yeah, I mean, I was there, to watch the show. But I mean, everybody knows that when you work on trucks and you go to watch a show, you don't really watch. You got to help out. I mean, you see, fallen brother, sister, working on something, and the truck blows up or breaks or whatever. You got to get in there and help out. And at that time, I came in and I had actually just helped out Dave Smith with Maniac, and then I saw Darren over here. He had blown up a transmission, and it's hot. Everybody's fixing their trucks, getting ready for the next show. I believe it was 2 shows in the same day. So I helped him out, him and Rebecca with that transmission before the next show, and yeah, we definitely got it back for sure. The truck ran for the next show.
The question from Daniel. He wants to know, do you really speak Spanish?
Un poquito. No, yeah, I definitely speak Spanish. Yeah, I'm fluent. I speak with my parents all the time, and anybody. I mean, if anybody comes really to the shows and, like, hey, buenos días, ¿cómo estás? And, me llamo Juan. It's like, I ask them where they're coming from. A lot of times I have actually met people, from Bakersfield, and, like Arizona or somewhere upstate or whatever. And I'm like, it's kind of cool. And I also have met fans that have come from Mexico, especially when we were in Del Mar, there were people there from Mexico, and they were just happy to be there, happy to see us, so that was pretty cool.
It certainly helps, being bilingual helps out. I think we were talking about it like last night. We were talking about the Arizona State Fair when Bill had you doing ticket sales just because you're able to speak Spanish for, I think it was for the ride truck.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of times where people, anybody, whoever they want to get the experience of riding a 10,000-pound monster truck, the OG or Skeletor, and like I said, I want to be there for them and help them get that opportunity to experience that. And if I have to speak Spanish, then I will speak Spanish for them or with them and help them out. But yeah, definitely, I have done that especially in Arizona and, like I said, other places down south. So yeah.
All right. Well, it's come to that point in the show where we bring in the guy who knows everything about everyone. It's time for Philosophy with Phil.
Hello, everybody. Although I only see myself, what's going on?
What is up?
Phil!
What's going on, buddy?
What's up, man?
Man, I have known Juan for, it seems like, forever. Had a lot of fun run-ins. I can think right off the top of my head. Here in Fresno, California. I was out there at the event, the Save Mart Center, running around like a maniac. Had to go get flour at the last minute at Costco. I'm running up the hill with the rental car keys, and there I see Juan at the top of the hill. Hey, Phil, what's going on? Hey, Juan, what are you doing right now? Well, I'm waiting to jump in the car. We're going to Costco. And next thing you know, we're at Costco lifting bags of flour. Long story short, we didn't even need any of that flour, but it was a fun moment. And just like, well, how you been? Like, oh, just running around hectic, trying to buy flour for this National Promotions Monster Truck event. No big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely a cool memory. I love that one. And I mean, if anybody has ever met me, they know that I'm always willing to help, as a, whatever, as a friend or just a first time meeting. I see you and I'm like, man, what's going on? I can see the panic already. Like, we gotta do something. We gotta get some flour. So I was there, man. That was pretty funny. It was cool memory.
Always a good time with Juan, especially. First time I saw you compete was in 2017 in Yuma, Arizona. You were down there driving Identity Theft, one of the more unique trucks in the Bill Payne stable. You have 6 different trucks you've driven in competition, from straight up racing to Sturges Motorsports. Specifically talking about Bill Payne's team, is there a truck in Bill's stable that you've never had a chance to drive that you would like to drive in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I've driven every truck pretty much except for, good old Rockstar. I definitely would love to drive that truck. I don't know that I could drive it as crazy and, as awesome as Bill, but I would definitely like to give it a try. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know, it'd be a very big shoe to fill. Everybody knows.
Well, maybe Bill will let you be the co-driver one of those nights that Lorna isn't there. You just never know with Bill, and especially with the incredible amount of venues that he goes to throughout the year. Now, you only get to compete in some select markets where your schedule allows you to be out there. Is there any special arenas or racetracks that stick out to you as a favorite place to compete in?
I've been really enjoying Roseville. Roseville has been one of my favorites. I was hoping actually this year to make it back to Chico. That's where I first had my riding experience, riding as a passenger in a truck, and I was hoping to make it to that one, to be able to actually drive in that one. And unfortunately, that didn't happen, but I'm pretty sure it will happen in the future, so we'll see about that one.
So you've become one of Bill Payne's longest tenured drivers now. Although you're not full time on the road, that Bill can always give you a call, and you're always out there lending a hand. Is there any favorite moments you have being on the road with Bill, and just some of the hijinks of the straight up racing team that stick out to your mind?
I have a lot. I mean, it's hard to pick, just one. But definitely, one of my favorites or my favorite times to be around everybody is when we're at that Arizona fair. I mean, we're there for 3 days, and obviously the guys are there a couple of days before, but when we're there, it's just we have the fair, we have the shows, we have each other, just killing time in between the shows, or if hopefully we don't break anything, or if we do break something, at least we're working together, so we get to spend a lot of time together. And yeah, those are definitely one of my favorite shows.
So you also have seat time driving Unnamed and Untamed for the ageless Sam Sturges. It's a legendary name, especially here on the West Coast, and it gives you more opportunity to compete in some of those weekends where you can. What's the biggest difference driving Unnamed and Untamed versus some of the trucks out of the straight up camp?
Yeah, it's a little bit different, not too much different, but I mean, if you compare it to California Kid, it's a big difference. Sam, he has, spent his time, tuning that truck, tuning the suspension, everything on it. It's an amazing truck. It's a little bit different, pretty similar. I do enjoy driving that truck for whatever show I do. It handles amazing. I love it. I'm very, thankful for them giving me the opportunity to drive that truck. But yeah, definitely driving, our straight up racing trucks and Sam Sturges, they're pretty close. Little differences here and there.
Every truck's always different in the business, and especially with Bill Payne and some of the crazy concepts he comes up with, whether it be a Spitfire Dragon or a Willie Crash Coupe, but also the Reverse Racer. It's a truck that's designed to test the illusion of the fans in the stands. Now, you've had a couple runs in Reverse Racer. Do you notice it a little more difficult to handle with the body on backwards, making it seem like you're driving in reverse?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you can definitely see a little bit more from the front, so that's pretty cool. The only thing is, I'm hoping I don't, go on the wrong side of it and try to get in. And I'm like, try not to look a little dumb here. I gotta go the other way.
So you've driven a couple trucks now, and you've been a veteran of the sport, I would say, for a number of years. You're most known for driving the California Kid, which a lot of people know is a very unique truck to begin with. It's that short wheelbase status. Comparing that to, Unnamed and Untamed or some of Bill's longer trucks, do you find it more difficult with the shorter wheelbase than the longer wheelbase trucks that are more common?
Oh yeah, definitely a little bit more difficult, just because it's it is short, so that steering, is responsive. The bouncing, and if it lands a certain way, it might not handle, or it will absorb it, I guess, a different way than some of the other trucks. But for sure, the handling on it it's completely different. It's hard to explain it, but yeah, I love driving that truck, and I believe it's a good trainer truck. I think to once you jump into something else.
Well, a lot of guys have competed in it, especially for as their first truck, and you've been in that truck with a couple different bodies, of course, being Willie Crash. Kind of a different visibility vantage point again, kind of like how short and long wheelbases are different. Do you notice the visibility be more difficult with a body like Willie Crash versus a full-blown 3D truck like Spitfire?
Yeah, well, Willie Crash has a small windshield, so it's about yay big. But yeah, definitely a different way to look at it, that truck, compared to Spitfire. You can still see through the Lexan and through some of the windshield, I guess. But yeah, that Willie Crash, it's small windshield, small windows, definitely a big difference.
And one of the fun concepts out of the Bill Payne stable is the identity theft. We all know what it's about. It's that black and green destruction machine. And you've had a chance to drive it a few times. I've seen you behind the wheel of identity theft. You ever have goosebumps and kind of picture yourself that you are driving that classic Chevy panel truck that, even though it's maybe not that name on the side that everybody knows and loves, but it's just as important, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you guys know it. As soon as you get in that truck, it's the very first thought. I mean, that's pretty much like the coolest thing about that truck, is everybody knows, what it resembles. And, for sure, when I got in that truck, and also I hear, the music, or I hear the crowds, and then just being inside of it and knowing, and I'm in a Chevy panel truck or body, I picture in my head, imagine it myself, that I'm in that legendary truck name, because, just like a lot of us, we all grew up loving that truck. So yeah, it's definitely, the pressure for one, and then two, just the shock and awe of driving that truck.
It's a unique truck for sure. And like you said, we're all fans, especially when you're behind the wheel of a truck. Now you have become a veteran talent, and you've driven a lot of different bodies. Is there one in particular? We pretty much named them all. Is there one in particular that stands out to you as your favorite, your go-to, whenever you get the chance to drive that body, that you want to represent it harder than some of the others?
Well, for me, for sure, California kid, being, born and raised in California, Bakersfield, I try to represent for all of us here in California. So I definitely love that name, that truck, its history. Also, back in the 90s, the same truck was around, I guess, or different truck, I should say. But yeah, definitely that's the one that will stick out with me the most, is representing in that truck and representing California, hopefully.
Now, I see we have the driver of Rat Attack in the comments, Jacob Ladwig, and he says Identity Theft is his favorite truck from Straight Up Racing. It's a fan favorite anywhere. It doesn't matter what's on the side or who's behind the wheel. Totally agree with Jacob, and you get to run with Jacob a lot as your teammate when you're competing in Unnamed and Untamed. What's it like having Jacob as a teammate when he's behind the wheel of Rat Attack and you're driving Unnamed and Untamed?
Oh man, it's definitely a lot of fun. We have fun. Just working on the trucks, getting ready for a show, kind of going over what we might want to do, here and there. We have been working kind of with certain, a couple ideas, that we can actually do together. And, we've actually have incorporated one with the double driving, which was actually, really fun to do with Jacob. But it's definitely a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun being with Jacob and maybe learn something new, because, with every team that I have helped out, I'm learning, something new, maybe just a different, way that they see to do something. So it's a learning experience, and it's, like I said, a lot of fun.
And it's so important to have fun when you're behind the wheel. It doesn't matter if the event's big or small. I've seen some of those tandem freestyles, and they're just incredible to watch. The crowd lights up every time. You really leave a lot of people going home thinking that you're one of their heroes, especially with the crash test dummy driver, Dallas Then Rogers. You're his hero, and you get to work with Dallas a lot. He's the voice of the Malicious Monster Truck Tour. How much fun do you have with Dallas on the road?
Oh man, Dallas, man, you're my boy, man. You know it. I cannot explain how much I love being around the guy. If one thing that I'm sure a lot of people know, if you know me, is I love to laugh. If you can make me laugh, I'm not saying like hey, make me laugh or whatever. But Dallas, man, he's one of the funniest guys that I've ever met. Right now, I'm laughing just thinking of in my head what he has told me before. But I mean, I love the guy. What else can I say?
And we all love Dallas. And if you haven't seen our episode with Dallas, it was our second episode. You could check it in our video feed here on our Facebook page. Through it all, you've seen and done a lot in your career so far, especially here on the West Coast. What do you want your legacy to be? If this were to end all tomorrow for Juan Muñoz, what do you want the industry and the community to remember you by?
Oh man, my legacy, huh? I guess I'd just like to be remembered, as the guy that would, help out and be there for anybody at any time, whether we have to be up until 3, 4 in the morning, which I have been, with, some of the teams. I'd like to be, I guess, just remembered if not as a good, great driver, then at least, as a great helper, and crew guy that was there to get the trucks running. And I'm sure a lot of you, we've had our times where, we've been together and we've knocked out some stuff that was probably like almost impossible for the time that we had, but we made it happen. And I hope to at least have that,
You never stop living the dream, Juan. Doesn't matter how big you get in the industry. And, you've mentioned the Arizona State Fair. You're almost out there every single year with Bill. And you drive out there wee hours in the morning. You stay put in your car most of the weekend, and you drive back in the wee hours of the night. It's dedication like that a lot of people take for granted in the monster truck industry and really don't understand if they're trying to get in. Wouldn't you say that you really have to give it your all to make an impact in the business?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and that goes with anything. I mean, if you want to do monster trucks or you want to do, whatever you want to do, a musician or whatever you want to do, you got to do the time. You got to put in the work. Like you said, I have to drive sometimes, myself to 2 shows, and like that Arizona one, that's I believe an 8-hour drive for me. So yeah, I'll drive, really early in the morning to make it there just in time for the show that day, and get to work right off the bat, and get the trucks ready and put on a great show for all the great fans that are out there.
And you're getting more praise in the comments from Jacob Ladwig. He says you're a hardworking guy who makes any bad situation better and always fun to laugh with. That's always key moments like that keeps you on the road with your teams, and moments when you're growing up as a fan that you appreciate more when you make it. And you are a longtime fan of the sport, and you're a diehard collector of the sport. Mm-hmm. You're out there and you're collecting a lot of different things. Take us in the mind as the fan, Juan Muñoz. What does your display look like? Your fiberglass collection, your diecast collection. What's in the mind of Juan Muñoz, the monster truck fan?
Oh man, I mean, what really amazes me is that I work on them, I drive them, but I'm still such a fan. I love seeing them. I love hearing them. I love meeting the drivers. Just like if I was just somebody watching the show. And I love collecting stuff. I do have quite a bit of a good collection. I mean, I could say I could probably fill up a lot of walls. But I mean, it's just the passion, man. It's the love of it. If you got something, I mean, maybe I'll take it off your hands. Who knows?
Typical Juan, always trying to find a deal, especially in your collection. You always collect a lot of different memories and a lot of different trucks, just like Terry Woodcock, a guy you helped out with a lot. Says you're always a guy that helps to jump in to help and anyone and everyone. Thank you for being such a great guy, and he's always looking forward to seeing you at the next show. Now, Terry Woodcock's a Hall of Famer. He's a legend. He's campaigned so many different names over the years. What's it like working alongside a guy like Terry that's really done it all in the business?
Sometimes, I try not to think about it too much, but he's just a regular guy, just like everybody else. But it's Terry Woodcock. Everybody knows that name. If you're an old school guy, that name. So just being around him, I appreciate the time that he gives me, the help him out and to learn something from him, because, you know, especially around during this time, you know, and, you know, I thank you, Terry, for, you know, everything that you have helped me with, and opportunities as well. And, you know, just seeing the way that, you know, the evolution of the industry, and just seeing how these older trucks were, it's mind-boggling sometimes. And me, I'm just like, I'm seeing this for the first time. I'm like, I never knew it was like this. I never knew it was like that, or whatever. And you know, it's definitely a lot of fun. And like you said, it's like, you know, being around a Hall of Famer, I try not to get too excited, but at the same time, it's pretty big. And that's actually another thing that was that I was gonna say earlier, was a big moment for me, was when I had my hometown show. Is not only was I here with you know, competing against, you know, our also a local Pat Gerber, you know, who I also grew up watching, you know, driving Shocker, but also to be in the same place with, you know, Terry Woodcock and Cyclops. It was pretty amazing. I love that. I love that show.
It's little moments like that you just pause. You're in show mode. I can test to some of those. You're in show mode, and then all of a sudden you just kind of stop and reflect, like, wow, I'm in this moment with these people doing this thing. Like, where am I? It's so incredible. It's kind of like never meet your heroes, kid, but when you do, you make it count. And it seems like you have a lot of heroes in the monster truck business. I think you've named a few of them, but if you haven't already, who are your heroes in monster trucks?
Whew, I mean, the list is huge. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, one of my biggest heroes that I keep, you know, in my heart, you know, thinking all the time is Jim Kramer. You know, when I was in high school, I was, you know, like everybody else, trying to figure out how I can get in, what can I learn, you know, and we actually had a car show in my downtown area. And Bigfoot was there, and just so happened Jim Kramer was there, and, you know, he took the time and, you know, focused on me and nothing else. So I was like, man, this is it right here. And, you know, he gave me some advice that, you know, I kept in my mind, kept in my heart forever. And you know, he told me what to really chase and look for. And I, you know, I hope that I did. I guess most of it, I guess I probably did. And that actually brings me to my next thing, that with the first time that I got to help Bill Payne and Straight Up Racing, you know, this is, I think, 11 years later after I spoke to Jim. You know, my very first show that I was there helping, and Bigfoot was in the event, and Jim Kramer was there. So I actually went up to him, and I told him, like, hey, man, I don't know if you remember me, but, you know, 11 years ago or whatever, you gave me this advice, and, you know, I chased it and I followed it, and I'm here today, and, you know, we'll see where it go from here. And you know, he was appreciative of that, and, you know, we just had a little bit of a talk. So that was you know, that's a good moment there. And one of my heroes. I mean, like I said, there's many of them, but that one for sure is special.
It's always incredible when you get to not only meet your heroes and work and compete alongside of them. You know, Juan, you're a fan, and you know your way behind the wheel of a monster truck, whether it's the real monster truck or the virtual monster truck. Now, Vinny, I'm going to throw it back to Vinny here. Vinny, tell us a little bit about what's coming up with Juan and some of the virtual monster trucks.
Well, you know, I was thinking in my head, I know we're all looking forward to Del Mar, the real Del Mar, you know, 4th of July. It's a spectacular event. I went last year and had an amazing experience, and I was like, I got to go back to this show. And just seeing how historic that show actually was, you know, I've heard it all these times, but actually going and seeing it for myself, I mean, that show is very special, and I know it's special to WJS, so I want to do something for the fans, and it's hard to do it during this time, so why not try to bring together, you know, some drivers from the real Del Mar event last year into a virtual event. So Juan is going to be piloting Unnamed and Untamed virtually July 3rd, as well as 2 other drivers from the real event. He's going to be competing along with his Sturges teammate, Jacob Ladwig, behind the wheel of Nasty Boy, as well as Brandon Galley, Wicked Strong. So let's take a little look at the promo video, and then Juan will get your word on it.
Del Mar, California, get ready for the first annual virtual West Coast Monster Truck Shootout, featuring some of your favorite monster trucks such as the original monster truck Bigfoot, Racing World Champion, Bounty Hunter, Obsessed, and more. 3 competitions: Monster Truck Time Trial Racing, Monster Truck Best Trick Competition, and Monster Truck Freestyle. July 3rd on WGAS Motorsports TV on YouTube, 7 o'clock Pacific Time.
Partnering up with WGS Motorsports, it's getting serious, and the competition's getting heated. I know we've had some practice events, and Juan, do you want to tell us a little bit, maybe a sneak peek on what these fans can expect July 3rd?
You know, you guys are in for a treat, because if you weren't there, I mean, you guys, the work that you guys do with the trucks, the tracks, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I don't know if I'm just old or something. I don't know what, but it's like I see it and it's amazing. But the track is exactly what it was, you know, last year, July 3rd, July 4th, you know. So, I mean, for us, like, for instance, you know, me and Jacob, you know, we were there, and Brandon, you know, we're competing in this, and we see it. I don't know how they feel about it, but me, I feel it's a little surreal, because it's just kind of reliving it again, but this time it's virtual, so it's pretty cool. I mean, you can do, I guess, anything without worrying about, you know, what you're gonna break.
So we know you as the slap wheelie guy. I mean, whenever Juan's on the track, he does a slap wheelie. I mean, it's just his thing. So will we see some slap wheelies in the virtual world? I know it's a little different virtually than it is in real life.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, if you know the truck, you know, Unnamed and Untamed, it's a wheelie truck. So without it, you know, doing at least one in a show, it's gonna, you know, be maybe disappointing. I don't know, but at least I gotta at least do a couple, man. Who knows? Or something. Maybe switch it up and do something that maybe you've never seen, and who knows? Maybe you'll see in real life one of these days.
Yeah, I know I am for sure excited about this. Vinny brought it up to me. He actually offered me a spot to judge, and I couldn't pass it up. I know I'm excited about it. We do have the 3 competitions. Do you have a competition that you're most excited for?
I'm pretty excited for the racing, or the time trial. Is you know, I've been trying to get a little bit better at the racing and be more concentrated on the racing. So I'm pretty excited to see how that goes. I mean, it's a whole lot different than the real thing, but you know, I'm excited to see how it works out.
So one last question, talking about the virtual event. You drive in real life, but you also drive virtually for this event. So what's it like, you know, driving in the virtual world compared to the real world? Is there any similarities? May it help you in the real world driving? Like, how is that like?
There's some similarities. You know, I was actually very impressed with the way that certain trucks handle, you know, and absorb certain jumps, because I'm like, oh, like, I've seen this truck perform in real life, you know, maybe even one that I've driven, and then I see the way they land, and I'm just like, man, that's like exactly what that truck would do if you landed that way or this way, whatever. But also, you know, just the big difference is really I'm either on a keyboard or a controller. I've been trying to get comfortable with the controller, and you know, switching the rear steer just like I would use it on a truck. So, you know, it's little similarities, but also big differences, because, you know, unlike the real thing, you know, in virtual you cannot feel, you know, where you are. You can't feel the truck. You know, a lot of the driving is done with feeling, you know, your hips and feeling the seat, or feeling just, you know, gravity, I guess, to see where you really are. So it's a little tricky, but it's a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to enjoy that.
So we talked about the virtual world of monster trucks. So let's transition back into, you know, the real world of monster trucks. You know, these big machines. So for freestyle, you know, Juan Muñoz has his own style. You know, we talked about the slap wheelies and all the crazy things you like to do. Do you plan your freestyle before you go out? You know, you're strapped in, you're ready for the green light to go. Do you plan maybe your first couple hits, or is it just throw it out the window and whatever's in the way?
You know, I'm just like everybody else. It seems that, you know, I have tried to plan them, and it just seems like whenever I do that, it goes, you know, completely the opposite. You know, and I have tried that. Don't get me wrong. It's like counting, maybe the next hit or just where I want to go, but it never works out. So I've just kind of learned to just kind of just know where all the jumps are at, know where all the angles are, and then just kind of just pretty much, open my eyes and then just go for it and then see what happens.
Right. It seems, if you've watched our past podcast episodes, it seems like a pretty frequent question. Everyone does seem to say, they've tried to plan it, or they maybe plan their first or second hits, but after that it kind of just goes out, and then, maybe you land wrong, and you're facing a car stack, and you end up getting hit that instead of what you wanted to hit. But moving on from that, you've been in the sport for a while, as Phil was talking about. You're kind of a veteran in the sport now. What are your goals in the future of the monster truck industry?
Well, definitely, just keep driving as much as I can, get as much experience still behind the wheel, learning something new. Maybe someday if I can, hopefully build one. I have had, ideas since I was a little kid of what I would name my truck if I had one, and just kind of see, I guess, where, I don't know, see where I can go from here. But definitely I want to keep driving for a while, and keep, I love where I'm at with straight up racing. Even Sam Sturges, with their opportunity, I love it. I love it where I am.
Right. So it's been a great episode. We're glad to have you on here. We have a question here from Travis Palm. He wants to know, what is your best advice on getting into the monster truck scene?
Best advice, just you got to know what you want. If you want to drive, if you want to, work on the trucks, if you want to maybe do something else, if you want to build a track, who knows? But I mean, my advice is just to, stick to it. Don't let anybody tell you, you can't do it, or you'll never will, or this and that, because I'm pretty sure there's, with a lot of people, you've all been there. I've been there myself, and try to, don't let it get you down. But I mean, once you get that, opportunity, if it, whenever it comes up, don't let it go. Just keep pushing, keep whatever it goes. Like one of my favorite examples I like to give is if you've ever watched the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey. That's one of my favorite movies, and I watched that movie, and I just thought about, what, I should probably do the same thing. Just say yes. It's like, hey, can you drive, across state? You know what? Yes. So I'm just gonna go for it, and then just see where it's gonna take me. If it worked in the movie, maybe it might work in real life. So maybe I'm the actual, like the living, example for that one. But yeah, for sure, don't give up, man. Whoever it is, just keep going for it. Keep asking questions. Don't be afraid. Definitely come up. I'm always more than happy, to answer any questions. I'm sure, anybody in straight up racing, and, Sturges Motorsports, you can come around and ask us, just hang out. And when you get that opportunity, don't let off. Just, pedal to the floor.
You heard it. Pedal to the floor. Juan, we want to thank you for coming on the show. We hope to have you on again, maybe in the future. But do you have any final message for the viewers watching and the viewers that will be watching? And also, where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everybody. Everybody straight up racing, Bill Payne, Lorna, and same with the Sturges Motorsports for all the opportunities I've had, as well as all the other. Sorry, I cut out. But I want to give thanks, to everybody, and like I said, all the drivers out there, for their opportunities. And if you want to, look me up, I'll be Juan Muñoz on Facebook, Juan Muñoz 661 on Instagram. So that's where you can find me there. And then don't forget, of course, Malicious Monster Truck Tour and Straight Up Racing on Facebook.
Well, you heard it. You heard it from Juan himself. You can find him on Instagram or Facebook. We want to thank Juan for coming on, and we'll see you guys next time. Wait a minute. Not next time, because we're going to talk about our next guest. Phil, do we want to talk about our next guest?
Well, it's the part of the show where we always just play a video talking about our next guest. So let's let the video do the talking, and then I'll tell you about our very special guest next week. So next week, episode number 7, we are interviewing the one and only John Barbera of WGAS Motorsports. He is one of the original motorsport promoters on the West Coast. It's thanks to guys like John that we even have a platform to have a podcast about West Coast monster trucks on Facebook. If it wasn't for guys like John, who knows where the motorsport action would even be on the West Coast. He's been in this game longer than any of us have been alive combined. He has so many incredible stories. He's a delight person to be around at the events. I just can't wait to have him here on the podcast. It's going to be one you're not going to want to miss. You're going to want to share this with all your friends, especially some of your old school monster truck fans. Some of those diehards from back in the day, they know and remember John Barbera's events from the West Coast, from places like Candlestick Park and the Aloha Stadium. We're going to talk all about all of that next week. We have John Barbera as our guest on episode 7.